Hey guys, Jared here. In today's episode of Book Talk, we're going over chapter 1 of my book, Overnight Success. And the chapter talks all about shattering your subconscious beliefs and raising your standards. Now, it's a pretty in-depth topic, but it's a very important topic and something that's totally changed my life. I hope you guys enjoy it. If you do, all I ask is share it with a friend, comment below. I'll be answering as many comments as possible, and make sure to subscribe to my channel. Thank you guys. So what it means is that although you may not see where you are right now because of your past and your history and things that have formed your current beliefs and like what you currently see the world as, it doesn't mean that you can't get to where you want to go. It just means that everything is available for you right now, but you may not be able to see it yet. So this chapter is all about outperforming your subconscious mind. So, as children, as we grow up, we have different things that we go through that shape the way we see the world right now. And sometimes you can't always think your way into the right mindset. You actually have to throw yourself into situations until your performance actually supersedes your beliefs, which then raises your standards. Well, it's a really powerful concept. To be honest with you, this is one thing that I learned that really changed my life because I've tried things so many times. I've been an entrepreneur for about 10 years now, and I've had way more failures than I've had successes. And my reality was shaped by my childhood. So I never really truly believed that I would be able to be successful deep down inside, even though I really wanted it. There was always something saying, maybe you're just not smart enough, or maybe you didn't come from successful parents, so you just don't have it in your DNA, or you don't have the help of your family. So for me, a huge lesson was that when I wasn't ready and I didn't know what to do, if I just threw myself into things, eventually something happened and it clicked and actually raised my set of beliefs. And that concept's really important to people who are trying to think themselves into the right mindset and just can't quite get there. Oftentimes, or almost all the time, you're not going to be able to think yourself into the right position. You have to just start doing until you outperform those beliefs that you currently have. All right, so the reason most people have limiting beliefs is because they haven't accomplished what they want to accomplish yet. Simple fact. You may be wanting to dive into e-commerce and drop shipping, and you may see people like myself or other people have success, which makes you believe it's possible, but at a deeper subconscious level, for yourself, you don't truly believe it until you actually feel it or until you actually see it yourself. So the simple reason why people have these limiting beliefs that stop them from actually getting to where they want to go is because they haven't achieved what they want to achieve yet. Simple. Also, when your childhood shapes your beliefs, right? Unless you grew up with two parents that were extremely successful and they've done everything that you want to do, okay, then it's possible. But if you grew up in a household, and you want to be an entrepreneur, but your dad was an accountant and your mom, was a school teacher, okay, you see other people as entrepreneurs, but at your childhood, at your core, you didn't grow up like that. So maybe, your subconscious doesn't think that it's possible for you. My advice is pretty plain and simple. If you want to shatter your subconscious beliefs, you have no choice but to take action until you actually do shatter those beliefs. So for example, when I first got into e-commerce, I saw other people having success, but I didn't truly believe it was possible for me because it wasn't working. But I was consistent and I had discipline and I kept myself working on things every single day. And then when I got my first $100 day, it was oh, okay, making $100 a day is possible. And then when I had my first $1,000 a day, then I was okay, making $1,000 a day is possible. But I didn't believe making $10,000 a day was possible until I kept pushing myself to a point where I made $10,000 in a day. Now, my beliefs are that I can make $10,000 a day, but I never thought I could make $50,000 in a day. And me 3 months ago never thought that I could even make $10,000 in a day. But I kept pushing myself, kept trying new things, kept hiring new people, kept going to events, kept learning, and I had a $50,000 day. And that was something unfathomable back in the day, even just a few months prior. But as you achieve more, your standards get higher. And the only way to break those, you can't sit in bed or sit in your office and just and think your way into having these beliefs that actually push you forward. You can't just think your way into it. You actually need to just do and keep doing until you achieve those things that shift your mindset and your subconscious. I think everyone's, background and growing up and childhood shape who they are today. For me, I grew up with a single mother in a one-bedroom apartment, and she oftentimes worked 2 jobs at a time, sometimes even 3, to make enough money to make sure I was in a good school and that we had, everything we needed and I was able to play sports. But for me, I knew I needed to do something different. I needed to earn money. I needed to make money because I would need to support myself. I wanted to do things I saw other people doing. I didn't know how I was gonna make money. Also, not having my father around for a big portion of my childhood, I wasn't shaped into, following a role model necessarily. In fact, growing up with just a single mother and an only child, we had a lot of conflict. So nobody was really my role model. I was kind of seeing the world on my own terms and coming up with my own ideas and visions for what the world's really about. So it kind of actually gave me, there was a lot of times where I could have went off track and really screwed up my life, but I just kept moving along and things kept working out. And now I've been able to shape my own perspective on the world as opposed to following in someone else's footsteps. A lot of people that maybe their dad is, an insurance broker and they really look up to their dad. So they become an insurance broker. And nothing's wrong with that. But for me personally, I didn't have anyone who I was following in their footsteps. So I kind of made my own path. Yeah, as you gain more success and more notoriety, inevitably more and more people want to do things with you. You check my Instagram DMs now, I get at least 20 people a day that want to do something with me. And back before I had achieved, the level of success I have achieved now, some of those things may have been appealing. In fact, I actually moved from Los Angeles to South Florida to get away from all the noise because I know that if I'm scattered and I'm working on all these different things, none of them are gonna, it's hard to build a business to a level of success that you want to get to. It's hard. And it's almost impossible if you're scattered. Now, when you have resources and you have an enterprise and you have 50 plus employees and you want to build more verticals, yes, that's possible. But when you're first getting started, you can't be business partners in 5 different things because you just need to focus so much attention on each individual thing that you don't have the capacity to do that. So for people just starting out, I definitely recommend honing in on one thing that you're doing and not getting the shiny object syndrome. Now, especially these days, it's hard because there's so many people flaunting things online, on Instagram that oh my God, this opportunity looks great. Let me jump ship and do this one. But if you don't see things through, you're never going to achieve what you need to achieve to break those limiting beliefs that you have. So for me, I try to stay focused on what I'm doing. I move to where I'm at so I can do that. And I'm going to ride out where I'm at until a point where I can just continue to invest in other things as opposed to just build things myself. Well, I don't think that there's necessarily a switch that you flip to turn it into an advantage. I think that inevitably hardships are an advantage. At the time, they don't feel like one. They actually feel like, I have problems that I can't, I've been at a point in my life where I thought I could never come back from it. I had no money, I was in debt, and I got slapped with a $250,000 lawsuit, and I couldn't even afford a lawyer. If you asked me back then, are you gonna make it out of this? I would tell you, no, I'm probably gonna have to file bankruptcy, and my confidence is lost, and I don't think I'll ever make it. But I did keep, trying to move forward and trying new things, and eventually I did get past that, and looking back, that situation formed a muscle in my mind that makes problems not look that bad anymore. It's almost like working out. If you go to the gym and you can bench press 135 pounds, and you work out for 6 months and you can bench press 225 pounds, 135 pounds doesn't feel like a lot anymore, right? Because you've built up that muscle. It's the same thing. The more problems you go through and the more you solve, the more of a muscle you have toward the stress and fear that those problems cause. And on top of just the muscle against that, you're actually building your confidence levels while in the process, because you're confident that you can get past obstacles. So you have a less effect from fear and stress, and you also have a higher confidence, so you can blow past problems very easily. Yeah, so when I kind of hit rock bottom, I moved back to Long Island to live with my mom for like a few weeks while I figured out what I was doing. And I was simultaneously reading this book, The Way of the Peaceful Warrior. And it's a fiction book, and it's about a guy who is like really good at his sport in high school, and an Olympic level competitor. And he thought he had everything figured out. He went to school at Berkeley, and he got all of the beautiful girls, and he thought he had all of life figured out. But deep down inside, he wasn't happy and he wasn't fulfilled. And he met this man that worked at the gas station, and he looked down at this man. But in due time, this man actually became his mentor and talked about meditation and how to make yourself feel better and feel happy. And it kind of reminded me of myself, because like when I was 21 and I had success, I thought I knew everything. I thought I had everything figured out. But then I realized when the money and the notoriety went away, I was nowhere near fulfilled, and I felt horrible about myself. It made me realize what was most important was inner happiness and feeling good about myself. So I was able to relate to that. It made me start focusing much more on myself, on exercising, meditating, getting my mind right, and focusing on being the best version of myself rather than focusing on what I need to accomplish. And what I learned is that in turn, you actually accomplish much more by being the best version of yourself. So the overarching theme of this chapter is how to outperform your subconscious mind. So when your external world matches your internal world, that's when confidence is born. That's when, what you've always visualized that you wanted and would want your life to look like actually matches what your life looks like now. Then you start to build up a confidence that you've never had before, because you became the person that you've wanted to become, and that creates momentum. And with momentum, you continue to break barriers, you continue to break your limiting beliefs that you still have, and you start to perform at a higher level than ever before.
It's hard to find a love through every shade of gray.